or just be entrepreneurs, but the reality is it's one of the most difficult things, and you have to really want to be an entrepreneur. Like Shelley, I was someone who started my first business very young. I was 14 years old, and I tell you, it's given me so much joy to be a serial entrepreneur. And for those of you here, I can just say I believe that you probably are the one believing in yourself, even when everyone else stops or tells you it's a crazy idea. So how many people here with your business do you actually think that you've done it despite many, many obstacles? Did you say it? So this is actually a celebration of you, because although we're going to talk about lots of things in this 10 minutes, one of the most important things is to remember that good times, bad times, you have to believe in yourself. And so just to tell you a bit about myself, I'm Uzra Dawood. I've come here from Pakistan, and it's been an amazing experience working with women entrepreneurs. Not only am I myself an entrepreneur, we started Pakistan's first awards for women and women entrepreneurs in 2008. Now we have networking lunches for professional friendships, deal-making, networking. We have entrepreneurship conferences. We have a variety of a magazine for women entrepreneurs and professionals. And we even have internships and mentorships. And today, we've been so blessed to have nominated and had way more Pakistani women on the Arabia 500 than any other country in the world. So we're really, really proud of that. So thank you. And I have a PowerPoint, if someone can put it up, please. So entrepreneurs, as you know, are continually tested. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of the tests some of us have faced. And I know that yesterday many of us heard Vice President Joe Biden talk a lot about how having half the sky, as Shelley was reiterating today, empowered, educated, and mobilized to optimize themselves with their own projects will actually change economic structures. One of the difficulties we've been facing in Pakistan is because a lot of women stop working after marriage. What happens is you have half the population not contributing to the economy, plus a lot of those women have been subsidized through medical school or for education by governments, and if they're not working, it actually affects directly the economic structure. So with entrepreneurs, it's so important because they're going to empower a lot of people. Is there any luck with the PowerPoint? Okay, it is. So what was wonderful is that I met up with Greta Schucker from the U.S. State Department yesterday, who was also saying that not only was Vice President Biden so committed to that, it's because the entire administration has been committed to that. And what I've been finding is that I've been in awe of the women in Turkey. Not only have the women here who've spoken just been so inspiring, I've been learning about women entrepreneurship projects in Turkey that are having economic impact, which is ultimately where we want women to be placed, where we want each of you to be placed. So many of you heard yesterday about the gyms that have 44 gyms that have been franchised all to different women across the nation. Well, I went to a place called Divan yesterday. Has anyone been to that hotel at Patisserie across Turkey? Well, the woman CEO is so incredible. She's actually started a chain across Turkey as well. And we've already said Nayar, I think here, was in the millions in business. And the amount of economic impact women are contributing is really important, because ultimately the end goal is not only to have financial security, but it's also to have a voice. The most important thing is, like Virginia Woolf once said, a room of your own. And here, so you can have opportunities to actually have your business be an expression of yourselves. So it's more than just economic security, because very often being a professional is an easier way to make money. You have to be really passionate to do it through entrepreneurship. No worries. So that's fine. We will just continue on. There were some things that were also shared in the Asia-Pacific Economic Report about certain aspects of women that are factors that can help with the development of women economic models and women entrepreneurs. So one is role models. You've got a slate of them here, and that includes mentorships, work-life balance, which of course many people here have spoken about, from advice to budding advice. We've also got lack of positive reinforcement, and I would argue that this is probably one of the most important, because we've had a couple of the latest nominees and Arabian 500 winners here who actually will tell you that every step of the way they've been through bankruptcy, they've been through difficulty. Obviously, someone like Shelley has been able to sell her businesses and retire at a very young age, but many businesses fail, especially the first or second one, and that applies to men and women across the board. So you have to be strong enough and secure enough in who you are to plug away. So I think with creating an environment of positive enforcement is really important. I know in the Pakistani culture, and as been shared here perhaps with the Turkish culture, very often you need family support, a lot more than in the West, because I know in Pakistan often there isn't always a culture encouraging the women to work, and we also have a law and order situation in Pakistan. But then the freedom comes to things like the internet, virtual businesses, which are just fantastic for women. Then we also have the realities of caregiving and other ways to balance the work-life balance. Something that exists equally in the East as to the West is the daddy little girl syndrome. I don't know if many of you were pampered or really taken care of by your fathers, so that encourages many women to pick up and start working, but it also encourages many women to feel perhaps that they don't necessarily have to. So that's something that is really an interesting dynamic, because in the East what happens is often in the household the enforcement given to women to work is very different. And different for men and different for women. So what we really want is to encourage more of that. The other thing about being an entrepreneur that has been very important in our experience in Pakistan is that you have to have courage to go to the cutting edge of your competence. Because only by pushing yourself in that field can you truly have economic impact. One of the things with microfinance is that it's been, because there's such small amounts, they have impacts on individuals and communities. But if you want women to start having an impact on the country's economy, which is the next step, ladies and gentlemen, and it is inevitable, and I wouldn't be surprised if many of you here, I'm sure there already is, are having a huge impact or will have an impact on the economy, because it's not just about men and women or women entrepreneurs having an opportunity to work or self-express. It's about that voice translating into economic impact. And that's something that we're very committed to in Pakistan. We have 20% affiliations with microfinance entrepreneurs to help tip from microfinance to SME. But our main interest is to get S to M and then to get M to have real players, until there's a point where the women are equally employing the same numbers and running the same size businesses. Even in business contests, have any of you ever applied for angel funding through a contest? Ever? Okay. Often if you go to a room full of men, you will find that almost all of them have been applying. And the key there is the numbers and the scale. Even some of the grant applications or the applications for getting angel funding, the minimums that they're looking at are much bigger than women have been considering. So one of the things we're very committed to is gearing that up so that the women can actually see themselves as true economic players. When we started our Ladies Fund in 2008 for encouraging women to have economic security, and we started investment advisory services to women, it was remarkable that the majority didn't even own a bank account. And so it's really been an incredible shift or change we've witnessed as women have started taking more interest in and control of their businesses, economic security, and so forth. I would just like to, I gather since we don't have the PowerPoint here, I'll just say that there's 4 C's to remember for those of you who are entrepreneurs: curiosity, courage, consistency, and confidence, and most of all, passion, which you have to love what you do. There's certain things that I wanted to share with you today that we've learned from Pakistani entrepreneurs, and one of them is that if you have faith in yourself and your business, and this could also be a spiritual faith, it actually helps your chances of succeeding, because every time you have to pick yourself up. Another big tip that we've learned is it's really important to surround yourself with people who will be there when things go wrong, and that's why we've created networks of professional friendships. In life, you go to school, you often have family, you make natural friendships. Okay, you end up having natural friendships, but professional friendships are very different. The girlfriend you go to discuss who to marry or which dress to wear is very different as to how to go about putting a business plan together, or who are the top 5 people you should go to for financing, or even who should be the first 5 people you approach to be your clients. The other thing that is a very important point learned is that women have to help women in this. I'm finding that although Shelley quoted our very famous Madeleine Albright earlier, but ultimately I find very often men are actually the most encouraging. When women start doing well in entrepreneurship, often it's not the women who are supporting it, but men, so that's something else that we want to really, really encourage each of you to do, and that's why we started our awards. In the interest of ensuring that everyone gets a chance to speak and we get to hear all the great speakers, I'll just say thank you so much for your time. If you have any questions, it would be a pleasure to meet and talk about ways you can start businesses with Pakistani women, or we can work together, or ways to ultimately help have women have more economic impact, not only in Turkey and Pakistan, but all over the world. Thank you.